Okay, I'm so excited. We have Marissa here who just promoted to Ruby and is not staying there for long. I'm so excited. So why don't you just start with a little bit of your story and introduce yourself?
Okay, so I'm 20 years old and I joined 2 years ago before, like right before I was leaving to college because I live here in Southern California and I was moving like to the opposite end of the state. And my major was pre-med, so I knew that I wasn't gonna have time to like go find a job and be like driving all over and stuff. And I saw this girl, aka Celeste, and she was posting and like at first I thought it was a scam, and then I was like, no, like I can see her face, like she's out, she has friends, like she lives a normal life. So she reached out to me about the products. First I said no. Um, I either said no or I just like didn't really answer the question because I wasn't in like the market to like buy stuff. But then she posted on her story like, "Oh, who wants to make extra income?" or something along those lines. And I decided, I was like, "Okay, why not me? Like, why can't I do that?" So joined for like probably like $50. I really just wanted to get my nails done. Um, and yeah, I've like been in it ever since. And obviously it's like everyone else says, like it turns into something so much bigger, and like it lights your fire, and like now this is something that you really want to like excel in. So yeah, two years later I'm still here.
I love that. And everyone's story in this business is so different and it's your own. So don't ever try to compare your story to someone else's because it's yours for a reason and you're going to excel in this business when it's your time. So, Marissa, you joined like 2 years ago. And of course, like you were enrolling here and there, but you were just getting that nail money that you wanted. So, what do you think changed to make that switch and start working this harder? And now you're like, now I'm going diamond and double, and I'm going to be ambassador one day.
So like when I first joined, I think after like maybe 2 months, I was enrolling customers. I was doing good, but I was really just enrolling to enroll, just to like get a check. Like I didn't know what my chart was. Like I didn't even know how to do a chart. Like I did not know what numbers I needed to hit to promote because I wasn't focused on that. And then I kind of fell off for a little bit, to be honest. And I feel like that happens to a lot of people. But like for me, I really just got depressed. I was changing majors, I was changing to nursing. So I was super stressed in the process. And like about 3 months of like just being stressed and tired and like not happy. I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, like I wish I had more money to go do this and go do that. And then I thought to myself, I was like, why am I even complaining? Why am I complaining when I literally had an opportunity, and I decided that I like didn't really want to do it, or I didn't want it that bad. Like that's what I was putting out to the world. And like obviously, when you do that, whoever you have under you, whoever you're training, whoever you're leading is going to like fall off too. So that kind of happened as well. And I'm like, one day it hit me and I told Celeste, I was like, you're probably not going to believe me because you probably get this a lot, but like I am serious and I'm going to put my mind to this because like why am I going to waste an opportunity that other people are looking for? So it's kind of where I'm at.
I love that so much. So, now you're an enrolling machine, enrolling like 5 LCs a day, all these distributors. So, what are your daily non negotiables?
So my non-negotiables definitely before I, really start interacting on my phone, like even like text back people, before I start doing that, like I love to pray because I feel like that's an important way to start your day. Like God blesses you every single day. You never know what's going to happen that day. So I always start with a prayer, be grateful for everything that I have. And then after that, I really like to do some self-development. So I like to watch like recorded Zooms. Like I have a TV in my room, so I like to watch recorded Zooms. I like to watch like Kelsey Thornton, Nicole, like, like a lot of like top leaders, and I'll kind of switch around like who I watch, but those Zooms really like light my fire. And afterwards I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the day. Like I'm ready to go. Um, so I do that. And then, I mean, those are probably like the most important things, like my most important non-negotiables, because that's going to set the tone for how you are going to lead your team that day, like what energy you're going to put out. Because if you're putting out bad energy in like the group chat or like to your team, or, if they're asking you for help and you're like, well, I don't know, or, you just don't respond to them, that's going to affect them. They're going to think, oh, does she really care about helping me? So, when you join this business, you think like, oh, I want to make extra income. But, it turns into you learning leadership. It turns into you growing your mind. It turns into so much more. So you have to remember, like, there's people that look up to you, and you need to not only be a leader, but sometimes you also have to be a friend, and you just need to listen. So, that's kind of how self-development has helped me. And like for me, I sometimes I still do have really bad anxiety. Um, and so like whenever like some little thing would happen, like some bad thing would happen in the day, no matter how big or how small, I would let it just like completely like stop the day. Like that's it. Like I'm not going to work that day. Like, I just didn't have the perseverance to keep going. And I feel like self-development really strengthens your mind so that, when those things happen, you're like, okay, I'm going to take a couple minutes, deal with it, do whatever you got to do to get over it. And then you're going to get right back to what you need to do because you have a goal to reach. So those are definitely like things that I do every single day.
I love that. I always, always, always say this business is 20% skill, 80% mindset. Your mindset is so, so important to your success. And we are constantly learning and growing. So watching those Zooms, that's so important. Like whether you joined today or 4 years ago, every single Zoom I get on, I learn something new because new people are joining, like, and they're finding new ways to do things, or someone else is staying organized differently than I am, and I could use like their idea as well. Always, always, always learning new things, and that's so, so important. Um, okay, so what would your best tip be to someone that's feeling stuck in their business?
If you are feeling stuck, you need to, okay, this also kind of ties into self-development as well, but you need to constantly be learning like what can you do better? What can you do better as a leader? What can you do to better yourself? What can you do to work smarter and not harder? Like whether it's like a tip, doing host to post, or messaging more. Like you need to always be switching it up. Um, so that's probably the most important thing. Also, if you're feeling stuck and you feel like you're posting the same thing or you're saying the same thing, say something different. Make your own post something different. Use we're in quarantine right now, so use the resources around you and make a post out of it. Um, and maybe you're stuck with not getting a lot of interaction, so make sure that you are showing like yourself on your Instagram. Like it doesn't always have to be it works, it works, it works. That's important, but like people want to know like what do you do on a daily basis? What's your dog's name? What's your cat's name? Like whatever it is, people want to know that. So if you're feeling stuck, then try to share like maybe parts of you that you haven't shared before.
That was perfect because that was literally what I was going to say next. Is Marissa is her face is on her story every single day, making her coffee, saying like she's going to get in and out at like midnight, like
Yeah. Literally anything.
anything, showing her face. Today on her story, like I think you talked about the opportunity
Yeah.
joining for half off. So showing your face on your Instagram story is so, so important. I always try to put like a not business related story in between my other stories. So every morning I make my celery or my skinny brew. And then like I'll post a picture of Jasper catching the ball outside. And then I'll post some more like it work stories. And then I'll post some motivational stuff and then some more it work stories. I break it up so that people see my life and they want to continue to watch me. I love that. If you guys need help with making your own stories, please feel free to reach out after this. And there's also a Zoom recording on YouTube that Laura Floyd did on how to use the different story apps. But it's so simple. It literally doesn't need to be anything fancy. Take a picture of you holding your coffee mug, like a selfie, and put a filter on it, and it looks great. Just don't overcomplicate it. And I kind of want to go back to where you said that like when you become a leader, you're not just doing this for you anymore, you're doing it for everyone else.
Mhm.
And like think about how amazing that is. Guys, we are changing so many lives every single day. Like I already got all my things. Like of course like I still have goals, but like I did it. Like now like I pray for you guys' success every single day. Like Erica's over here savage just promoted like 5 rubies today.
I know, I kept seeing it. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is amazing.
That's 5 people that are going to be making an extra $500 a month from their phone. Like it's not about you anymore. It's about all the other lives that you get to impact every single day. Okay. Someone asked in the chat, what are your best upselling tips?
So what I do when I upsell, I obviously, we say like don't judge a person's wallet, like no matter what, like do not do it. So what I like to do, I like to start with like some depending on their goal, I'll like to start with something that I'm like, okay, they'll like that and they'll probably want to get that. And then at the end, I always upsell at the end. So if they're like, okay, I'm all in, I'm ready, like send me your website, I'll be like, oh, okay. And by the way, you also get Thermofite X on sale for $39 instead of 65. So would you want to add that on? And that's kind of how I market it. It's all about the way that you're like portraying it is what's gonna like really attract people. So I really like to go with that method.
Yeah, I love that. Always start big. You can always work your way down because then they even feel like they're getting an even better deal.
Yeah,
And then, especially with Triple Threat, they're already spending over $150. Like, what's another 60 for greens and fat
yeah,
fibers?
exactly.
Okay, does anyone else have any other questions? You can unmute yourself or put it in the chat. Okay. While they're thinking of any other questions, Marissa, do you have anything else? Any other tips you want to share with us tonight?
Um, yes. Okay, if you are having trouble with like finding your why or like kind of like, making people like, want to know more, then I would suggest like literally speak your mind and say why you joined. Because me, like I grew up like I was not broke. I was none of that. Like I actually grew up like a lot better than like most people, like better than your average person. And I'm so blessed to be able to say that. But I had reached a point where I was like, my parents aren't going to be providing for me all the time. That's just not like reality. And I want to be able to say like, oh, I did something by myself instead of saying, oh, my mom did that for me or my dad did that for me or they bought this for me. Like I want to be able to say like I worked for it and I did that. So when I put that like on my story the other day, I had a lot of people saying like, I'm interested, like I want to join, like I want to buy diapers for my kid or like whatever it was. Like I got a lot of engagement from that. So it doesn't have to be some crazy like dramatic story. Literally just say why you joined, say how it made you feel, say like your first impression, like all of that is really important to when you're trying to get like more distributors and stuff like that.
Ah, so good, guys. That's so important. Just be you and your authentic self. Like when I joined, I was like in college working 3 jobs and barely had enough money to pay for groceries every week. But that doesn't mean every single one of the people that like I enroll or that want to join this business has like that same story. So don't feel like, oh, I can't be successful because like I didn't grow up like this, or I don't look like that, or I don't have that like Instagram or like whatever it is. You just have to be you and be out like your authentic self. Okay, we have lots of questions in the chat. What are tips for someone that literally just started today?
Okay, so always like don't focus on, because I literally did this the other day. I just promoted to Ruby, and I got out my diamond chart because I'm like, I'm going diamond, like, you know, like I like got it in the bag. And like I looked at it and I was like, what the hell? Like how, what? Like it was just ridiculous. So like definitely set your mind on like being at the top and things like that, but don't overcomplicate stuff. If you know that your next rank isn't diamond, then don't take out that chart, because sometimes it's just going to be overwhelming to you and it might like spur a lot of negativity. And that's what it did for me. Like literally while I slept, I just like was thinking about my diamond chart. I was like, what the heck? Like I don't even know how I'm going to do that. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not even Ruby yet. Why am I worrying about that? So worry about the next thing, but always strive for more. Make sure like when you post, don't, I know it's hard, but don't be afraid of what other people think. I've gotten like really negative messages. I've gotten like, you know, girls from high school telling me like that's a scam, and I just honestly I whipped out the facts, and at the end of the day they couldn't say anything about it. So just be you, um and just be like genuine, and don't let anyone tell you that like this business isn't for you, because they have no idea what your life is like. So that's some tips I would definitely give you.
Love it. Okay, would you say creating your own stories made the biggest difference in interaction, or has interaction always been the same?
I would definitely say making your own stories, like people can tell when you're putting in effort. They'll see it, like they'll literally see your stories and be like, "Oh, she's, you know, doing something different than what she did yesterday, and you know what, she made her story look different." Um, so it definitely did. People are like, "Oh, you know, it doesn't look spammy. They're good quality pictures, or good quality like videos, like and it's not too much, like not too many emojis on like the whole like story." So I definitely would say like creating good quality stories is really important for interaction.
Okay. Someone else said, I can't seem to get anyone interested. Everyone who seems super excited ends up saying they don't have any money, but they reject the job on opportunity. What I don't know what to do. So no's are a good like no's are just getting you closer to a yes. So the more no's you get, the closer you are to that yes, and you just need to talk to more people every day. Okay. How are you growing your follow/views on Instagram without getting blocked?
So funny story. I'm like the queen of getting blocked actually. This is actually something I still struggle with, but just make sure like have a goal that like I want to follow this many people today, and break it up in between like hours, and probably don't follow more than like 12 an hour. If your account's like sensitive like mine, 15 max. um so that's what I would do. I would also focus on like interacting a lot, like comment on pictures even if you don't know them. Like they like girls don't care. Okay, like girls will be like, oh my gosh, thank you, like you know how it is. So make sure you're interacting, make sure you're viewing stories, like like Celeste said the other day, like when you're in the shower or something, just leave your like stories on like so they keep on going. And that way Instagram will be like, oh, she's watching these people's stories, she's interacting, like, and it'll kind of make your account a little less sensitive to getting blocked.
Yeah. Okay. How are you enrolling so much?
Um, Honestly, I've told this to a lot of people lately, but you need to put your self-development first. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if you think that you don't need it, because that's what I thought. I was like, oh, self-development, like I'm gonna just check it off the list, you know? But that is something that you need to do, not just for the business, but for yourself. Like, you need to strengthen your mind, you need to grow your mind, you need to wake up and you need to be in a positive attitude. Okay, because negativity is not gonna get you to the top. It's saying, "Oh, why me?" is not gonna get you to the top either. So just like don't complain about it. Do your self-development and you'll see the results because like Celeste said, it's mostly mindset, okay? Like I'm not a freaking like scientist. I did not specialize in like learning how to like sell products at all. I'm a pre-nursing student actually. Um, so just remember that why did I blink out? You ever do that? Oh, self-development. Just remember that self-development is super important, okay? So I want to see everyone doing their self-development.
Yes. And what are your biggest tips for enrolling distributors?
So distributors, I like since I've been in it 2 years, I've kind of had like a lot to work with. So, but if you're trying to get distributors and you're new and you obviously don't like have very many, then I would definitely post stories. Letting people come to you is a lot easier than cold messaging. Um, I
Or
mean, I'm not saying to not cold message, but I think stories definitely are gonna bring in a lot of people. I mean, literally, my last girl, she swiped up on a story and, you know, she told me what was on her heart and everything. So, I mean, it's because when you cold message someone, it's almost like you're not pushing them, but you're asking them to dive into something that they don't know anything about. And it's easy, I think it's a lot easier to do that with products. But definitely when it comes to like doing this as like a job, I think posting stories every single day, post at least one opportunity story a day. Make sure you're posting the income disclosure chart. That is very important. So yeah, I think even when you cold message and you have like maybe the opportunity stories on your highlights, people will be able to see that, people will be watching you. So just keep planting the seeds and people will come to you, trust me.
yeah, with distributors, it's all about telling your story. And even if you join today, you have a story because you took the leap of faith and joined a business to change your life. So you don't have to talk about what this has done for you. You can talk about what this is going to do for you. I just joined today and I'm working towards making enough money with this for it to like cover my car payment every month, or like this is going to allow me to stop struggling to pay for groceries every week. Talk about what this business is going to do for you and why you joined. Okay, chat is blowing up. Um, yeah, so she messages like cool messages for customers and then just has distributors like reach out to her from stories. Where do you get most of your customers? Messaging, stories, HAP, all of the above.
So let's see. Sorry, I'm rereading it again. Most of my customers come from messaging, both messaging and stories. It's not always like people replying to my stories. It's not always like that. Sometimes you got to go out and get them. That's just the way it is. Host a post. Haven't gotten very many from that because that's kind of where my weakness lies, and I need to do host a post a lot more. So I've definitely been working on that. So hopefully, I can get some customers from host a post.
And how much do you follow up?
Follow up. Um, so if people say, like, if a PLC says I get paid in a week, I'll follow up in a week and I'll be like, hey, is this day a good day to follow up? They'll say yes. Okay, so I remind for that day. I usually do it in the morning because that's a good time to get people. Um, but what was I talking about?
Follow-ups.
Follow up, sorry. Okay. Um, so yeah, if they say they get paid a certain time, I'll follow up that day. But if they're kind of just like skeptical, hesitant, kind of replying super slow every day. Good morning. How did you sleep? Yeah, like when you follow up with someone, make sure you're not constantly being like, I have one spot left, so come take it, because they can get tired of that. So just say something like, good morning, like I'm sure we both fell asleep, but just wanted to see what your thoughts were on X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
So
and
I'll say stuff like that.
don't be afraid to like mix up your follow-up. So if I've been following up with someone that is a PLC for a while, I'll be like, I know we've been talking about you trying a product, but have you ever considered making an extra income from your phone?
Yeah.
Or I'll
Sometimes they're hesitant because of money.
yeah, or
So
I'll ask them to host a post for me, and then I'll just go back to following up with them as a PLC. And do you message everyone you follow, even if they don't follow or add back?
I only message the people that follow me back unless like I know them and like I think that there's someone who would want to try the products or who would might want to join the business, but more often than not, I only message the people that follow me back.
Would you suggest doing your own before and afters?
Yes, I definitely would. And I was actually thinking about this before I hopped on the Zoom. Have like your holy grail products. Um, whether it's skincare or whether it's weight loss, whether it's just like something simple like the greens or the reds and like giving you more energy, make sure you have that holy grail product. So for me, it's the skinny coffee and it's the greens and the keto coffee. Those are my holy grail products. I've lost 20 pounds altogether. So I definitely need to get corporate approved before and afters, but yes, I definitely would suggest doing that because people are more inclined to want to get them if they can hear your testimony.
Well, that being a product is so, so important. And how do you know what product to offer, in what, even though they tell you in what category they need help in? I'm gonna come back to that one.
Oh, I think she's talking about like if they choose weight loss, how do you know what products to offer out of like all the weight loss products?
Okay, so rule of thumb, if they say weight loss, just ask how much weight they want to lose. You can make a custom plan for them. Over 10 pounds, triple threat. Under 10 pounds, Keel Coffee Greens. How do you seal the deal and make them commit?
So a lot of times they struggle to commit because they have like heard someone who's used it and like whatever, it didn't work. Or they have just been super skeptical and they have a bunch of questions, but they kind of feel like they kind of answered it on their own. And so they're like kind of backing away a little bit. So make sure, like, if they're being hesitant or they're being dry or whatever it is, you first of all send a voice message. They want to know that you're not a robot, because we have a lot of those these days. Um, and also say like, hey, like, do you have any questions or concerns or maybe anything that's holding you back? I just want to make sure that you get all your questions answered and have all the information. So make sure that you put that out there. If they say no, just follow up later because they're bound to eventually become your customer.
Yeah, just be super excited, stick to the script. Um, and you'll seal the deal. Being excited is so like the biggest thing. And just like Marissa said, voice messaging, if you voice message, they're going to hear the excitement in your voice. So if you have a product that you use every single day, voice message the description of the product because they're going to be able to hear how excited and how much you actually love the product. And a tip for voice messaging, if everyone that has an iPhone should have this voice memos app, you can like record a voice memo and then copy and paste it so that you don't have to like send a voice recording, like record it every single time. What do you say to distributors who have a goal slash expectation but don't meet it in that day?
So I'm assuming we're talking about someone who's joined the business and we're training them. But I always like encourage them to start like whatever goal they have, no matter how big or small, like they just joined. Okay. So it's easy to be like, like kind of come off too strong. But whether it's just sending you screenshots and kind of having accountability, whether it's just learning the scripts, kind of knowing what products to offer in what situation, just encourage like smaller goals. And if you don't have a group chat with your team already, make sure that you do. And if no one else has like said that they have a goal for that day, you set the goal for them because you're the leader. So you are the one who needs to encourage them. So just say, let's hit 10 customers in total today, or let's hit 50 customers in total today. Like whatever that might be, it could be something small or big, but just set a goal so they have like something in front of them, like, okay, like we're all trying to do this together.
Yeah, love it. How do you balance your outside life and the business? This is a good one.
Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, so right now I'm currently trying to get into nursing school because I'm literally working this business because this is my dream, and so I want it to fund my other dream that I have. I was literally telling my grandma that today. um, but lately I have been getting rejected from nursing school, I'm gonna be honest. And this is the time that I realized, like, wow, this business really got my back. Um, I do have a boyfriend, so I know how relationships go. So when I go over to see him, I always tell him, like, at least, like, sometime in the morning, I'll be like, hold on, just give me a second. Like, I really need to post this. Like, this is important because, or else I'm not going to get the amount of customers that I want today. And he gets that. And he's very, like, encouraging when it comes to this business. But, make sure that you aren't just scrolling through your phone and doing like nothing and just looking at everyone's stuff, not interacting, not doing it. Like if you're doing that, then that's not working. So um when I tell him, hey, I got to do this, I'm messaging, I'm getting back to everyone, I'm following up. I like spend like probably an hour just like doing the basics of what I have to do for the day. um Also, self-development is going to help with balancing. A lot of it is stress. We just constantly think like I have to do X, Y, Z, one, two, three, like I have to do everything. But make sure that you're doing your self-development so that you can like write things out. I have everything written out here. These are actually the colors for my team. I have it listed their name and what color they are and like what qualities each color has. So be organized. A lot of it is stress and lack of organization that's going to get to you. Make sure to do that. And another thing I wanted to say, depending on what color your team is, sometimes you need to like have a different approach. So if they're a yellow or something, you might need to check in with them a little more. They want to know, like they want to be loved on. They want to know that they're cared about. So sometimes you might need to check in with them a little more often. They're very like they can sometimes be shy, sometimes be afraid. So make sure that you check in with them. But yeah, just stay organized for the most part.
Sorry, I'm answering someone
You're good.
in the chat, and I can't multitask. Okay, love that. So, Marissa, what color are you?
I'm a red.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. What's your secondary color?
Red, and then I believe it's blue.
Okay, so if you don't know what the color personalities are, there's red, blue, yellow, and green. So reds are like very money motivated. They're like, just tell me what I need to do and I can do it. Like ball, like they're just gonna get it done. Blues are the life of the party, like they just want to have fun and like super bubbly. Greens are very like analytical, like detail oriented. They want like lists and graphs and all the information. And yellows are like kind of shy, like they just want to help everyone, hate telling people no. But yellows are also kind of like the chameleon, um, and they can be other colors when they need to be. Yellow is my primary color, and I'm yellow, blue, green, and then red. I have like no red in me. Um, so depending on what color your teammate is, if they're struggling with someone, um, depending on what color it is, that's how I'm going to approach them. With Marissa, like if she's struggling with something, I know because she's red, I can be like, shut your mouth and just go do it. Stop being a baby and do it. And she's gonna be like, okay, you're right, I'm gonna do it. But like if someone said that to me, like now it would work. But like when I first joined, like that would have not worked because I'm yellow. Blues, like they just want to like be having fun. So if you make this like friendly competition and like keep it like really fun and exciting, you're going to keep them in. Greens, like give them exactly how much BV they need to enroll and like they're going to do it. So that's super important to know the color personalities and who.
Even like I think was it yesterday or even okay, the day before yesterday and yesterday, like Celeste was telling me since I'm red, she's just straight up about it, like hit me with it. And she's like, "Are you Ruby yet?" I'm like, "I'm getting there. Like just give me a couple minutes." And then the next day, "Are you Ruby yet? Are you Ruby yet? Are you Ruby yet?" And I'm like, "I'm getting there." And then she's like, "That's it. Just send me your promotion picture and what you want to do with it. Like please, like." She's just like over it. She's like, you know, she's gonna do it anyways. So it was just funny.
Yeah, I love that. So if you don't know your color personality, definitely take the test. It's just like probably like 50 questions, probably not even that many. Just Google personality test. It's like the first or second link that pops up. I feel like there was something else I had to say. Where can you find the website? Oh, I just answered that. Does anyone else have any other questions? There's definitely something else I wanted to say. What were you talking about before the color personalities?
Let me see. Oh, life and like how you find the balance basically.
Oh, okay, perfect. So you have to
Dead.
being intentional with your time is super important when you're busy. Okay, like Marissa was saying, scrolling on Facebook is not making you money. Intentionally interacting with people is. Scrolling TikTok is not making you money. Don't get sucked into the TikTok hole. Don't do it. If you don't have self control, delete TikTok. Now, I know some of you could get off and go delete TikTok right now. Okay, so, and if you're super busy, just on the days that you know like you're going to have more time, write out some captions, make extra stories so that you have for them to use. I know when I was still in school and working all these other jobs, I would try to get wherever I had to go, I'd get there 5 minutes early so I could sit and just work for those 5 minutes. So if I was driving to work, I'd leave 5 minutes earlier so I could drive to work and then sit in my car for 5 minutes and get as much as I could done. On my lunch break, I was working instead of just like sitting there scrolling on Instagram. I was working on Instagram. Um, What else? Um, Now we have the Telegram group, so it's even easier. Like you guys can go and save a bunch of stories and captions to use. Um, but it's literally the 6 simple things we do every single day: posting, messaging, following up, interacting, self development. 6 things. That's it. That's all you have to do to be successful. Is these 6 things over and over and over again. So don't overcomplicate it. Just do those 6 things. I
One
go
thing I
for
wanted to add, one more thing, sorry. But I feel like a lot of times because I was struggling with this, like before I went Ruby. A lot of times we hold back on like, you know, talking about it works or, posting like every day because we're afraid that people are going to get annoyed or they're going to say something or they're just going to like block us or whatever. Like, do not be afraid because I promise you, when you think of your why and you think of your life and what you want this business to do for you, then you're not going to be so afraid to be posting that stuff because I promise you that no one else knows what you go through. Whether it's like struggling to pay for your car payment or just struggling to even like, live in your home. People don't understand that. People don't see that. So they have no right to even tell you anything. Just remember that. And if they even have the time to tell you something, something's wrong with them, not you. So keep that in mind.
exactly. Don't take advice from people you wouldn't trade places with. And they don't pay your bills, their opinion doesn't matter anyways. Okay? No matter what you do in life, people are going to judge you. Breastfeed, don't breastfeed. Get married, don't get married. Like live in the city, live like I don't know wherever. People are going to judge you for everything. So have them judge you for making mad money from your phone.
It's true. She's got a point.
Okay? And I'm 23 years old, built a house, and my family still makes fun of me for doing this. But they don't complain when I pay bills for them. So come say my It Works bought couch and my It Works bought house, or my It Works bought car. Because you ain't got nothing else to say, okay? And if you have family members that aren't supportive, like that's okay. Just like I know like it sucks, like eventually they'll come around. Um, just don't talk about the business with them. Like my dad never really like understood what I was doing until he came to visit and I was promoting to presidential while he was here. Like he'd always be like, "Oh, like are you sure you don't want another job?" Or like Brandon doesn't want to get like another job. Like, are you sure like you don't want something more stable? And then when I was polling presidential, he saw how hard I was working and he saw like how much our lives were changing because of that promotion. He was like, wow, like this really is like real, like this is a really great company. Now literally he calls me all the time and he's like, how are your girls doing? How's Nicole? Is she ambassador yet? Are you ambassador? Like what's going on? And he loves it just because sometimes like people just don't understand what we actually do. So try not to get mad. Just like if they have questions, answer them. If they're just being a-holes about it, just be like, I'm not going to talk to you. But if you now with everyone being home and like quarantine, I know like some people um like being with your family all the time can be like hard. And I know like whenever I'm home, because now I live like out of state for my family, they're like, oh, you're always on your phone, like meh. And I just say, no, like I'm working. Like I can be here with you working from my phone, or I can be like my sister at the pharmacy working and she's not able to be here at all. Okay, I think there's another question. How to push yourself to enroll and keep going if you feel like you don't have no one to show you where to go next.
So honestly, like when I first joined, I'm gonna tell you, I just broke up with my boyfriend. Got cheated on. It's fine. We're back and better. But, I was alone. I was away at college, a place that I didn't have any friends at. Okay, like I got to college, everyone knows each other. I didn't know anyone. My family had no idea what I was doing. I have 3 older brothers. They were like, "Is that a pyramid scheme? Like, what?" And I remember messaging Celeste, like, "Is this a pyramid scheme? Like, you could tell me." Like, and she's like, "No." Like, she sent me all the articles, and honestly, the only person you need is yourself at the end of the day. Okay? You are an independent woman. You are grown. You can do it. You don't need anyone you know, to show or to push you because you can do it all on your own. And when that special someone comes along or whoever it is, they're gonna be like, wow, she did that shit on her own. And you're gonna be like, yeah, I did. So just remember that.
Yeah,
Self love.
exactly. And if you feel like you're struggling with like what to do next, always like reach out um to your enroller, myself, like whoever. We're all one team, one mission. Um and just ask like what you think you should be doing and what you should be focusing on. We're all here to help and support everyone. Any other questions?
I think Sydney had one now.
Oh, yes, I'm waiting to see if she's talking about a PLC or a PDT. But she said, what do you suggest to say to people who say they really don't have the money at the moment? Would you just accept it or continue to follow up?
So if they say that and I offer them the business and they're still like, oh, I don't have enough money, I'm gonna like I'm literally broke. If they tell me that, then I'll be like, okay, like when do you get paid next? And then when I follow up that day, I just let them decide because you've shown them both options and they'll decide what's more important to them. So I would definitely just follow up later. If you haven't offered the business, you do need to do that because they might not know that that's an option. Just because they don't have money to spend on products does not mean they don't have money to invest into business. Okay, they might be really smart. So like don't underestimate that. But I definitely just save them as a potential even if they don't have it right then and there.
Yep, exactly. And going back to not judging someone else's wallet, like you never know what's important to someone because everybody has $99 and right now it's only $49 to join. So even if someone says they don't have $25 to spend on fat fighters, like they could like really be struggling. And if you tell them like how much this business can do for them, like they're gonna spend the $99 to join to change their lives. Any other questions? This is so good. Okay, I'll give it like 30 more seconds, but I'm so proud of all of you guys. Volume is crazy right now. There's so many promotions happening, and I know we're just getting started. There's still 3 full days left in the month. So proud of you guys. Can you guys post this video on my team for my team? Yes, I recorded it, so as soon as it's done uploading, I will post it. Thank you so much, Marissa. This was amazing.
For having me. My first Zoom that I've actually like talked on. It was
Yes,
great.
you did so good. Okay, I'm gonna